welcome to All-State Saturday kickoff from Stillwater, Oklahoma. A Big 12 matchup today. The Kansas State Wildcats needing 2 wins for bowl eligibility. The Oklahoma State Cowboys just looking for a win. Glad to be with you on a gorgeous Saturday in the state of Oklahoma. 76 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Alongside Charles Arbuckle, I'm Richard Cross. If it's all the same to you, we're going to leave our shirts on, if you're good with that.
Hey, I thought about that.
Yeah. A little bit different feel for this ball game today. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, 2 programs that you feel like should be in the mix for a Big 12 championship. That's not the case right now.
Usually that is. Oklahoma State has been struggling. They got an interim head coach. They're really trying to figure out a way. And Kansas State is in bowl eligibility position, but they have to make it happen in a place where they've really struggled.
They absolutely do. In fact, they've won here in Stillwater only once in the last 26 years. Got to win 2 of their final 3 to get to that 6-win plateau to get to a bowl game. Oklahoma State, you see ESPN Analytics today gives them a 93% chance to win. Tough on the road at Utah, and then they'll close it out with the Colorado Buffaloes. One reason for confidence, their quarterback Avery Johnson, who last week became the 3rd quarterback in Kansas State history with 5,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing, and he did it faster than anybody else.
The key with him is he can really run. Probably one of the fastest guys on the field, but he also can throw the football, and that's where they've really been working with Avery Johnson to get better and better. If you're Oklahoma State, you got to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained, spy on him, but you cannot let him run free.
Chris Kleiman is the head coach at Kansas State in his 7th year. Of course, was at North Dakota State prior. 4 national championships, 8 or more wins in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Doug Meacham serving as interim head coach after longtime head coach Mike Gundy was relieved of his duties back on September 23rd. Doug Meacham's been around the game for a long time, over 3 decades in college football. He's got yeoman's work to do with this program, and I know the wins and losses don't look good, but his ability to kind of keep this team together has been impressive.
You could tell that from just talking to him, Richard, how he's been able to keep these guys motivated, keep them going in the same direction. But when you have the interim title in today's college football, it's awful difficult.
K-State kicks it away. We are underway at Boone Pickens Stadium. This will fly over the head of Gavin Freeman. It's a touchback, and we will see the Cowboys offense first. K-State won the toss, deferred to the second half, and quarterback has been a bit of a revolving door this year for Oklahoma State. Today it's Zane Flores, the redshirt freshman, 3rd year in the program from Gretna, Nebraska. Pretty good in his last outing against Kansas back on November 1st. 235 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Of course, this season began with Hosseini, did not make it out of the first quarter of the opening game before an injury sidelined him likely for the season. Flores came in, he completes his first pass. That'll be for a gain of 5. Flores had an injury that he dealt with. They brought Sam Jackson, the 5th, from wide receiver. Did a nice job kind of getting into that role, making some plays with his legs, and now it's once again Zane Flores as the signal caller.
Well, if you're Zane Flores, you want to complete those kind of passes and give yourself 3rd and short against this Kansas State defense.
2nd and 5 from the 30. Rodney Fields Jr. on the carry. Not much there on 2nd down. Going to bring up a 3rd and 4.
About the line of scrimmage battle. I can just remember that from talking to both coaching staffs, but in particular when you talk to, Chris Kleiman, Joe Klanderman, the defensive coordinator, that's really where they have struggled when they come to this place.
I asked Doug Meacham a question. Really was curious how he was going to respond. I said, does your football team still believe that they can win? Only 1 win on the season so far. And he said they do. He said, but they need some good things to happen, especially early. Flores on 3rd down, going to swing it out of the backfield to Fields. Fields trying to get to that 1st down marker, and he is dropped a yard short on the tackle that time. Desmond Purnell, Amarian Fortenberry was there as well.
One thing is you're in a situation where you're 4th and short, but you catch the ball, you have blockers, but this K-State defense just gets to them too quickly.
Oklahoma State electing to punt. That drew a few boos from the crowd. This is a low end-over-end punt, and it's going to take a Cowboys roll. Fielded, though, on the return by Sterling Lockett. That saved some yardage for Lockett. It's going to be our first look at Avery Johnson and the Wildcats offense. 54-yard punt. This was last year against Oklahoma State, responsible for 5 touchdowns in that ball game. It marked a career high. The 6'3", 196-pound junior from Wichita, Kansas.
They had Dylan Edwards, who had been hurt, been in and out of the lineup. He decided to transfer out. So they're looking for productivity from Joe Jackson and the other running backs for this Kansas State team.
Avery Johnson, 1,991 yards, 16 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions this season. Kansas State will start things in the air. It's a short gain to Joe Jackson. Yard, maybe 2 on first down for the Wildcats. Kansas State coming in 4-5 on the year. But the story of the season for K-State has been close losses. Outside of the loss that they had to Texas Tech, which was by 3 scores, it's been all 1-score setbacks this year.
They have been close, but now they feel like they got to get things done.
To the air, and that is way behind the intended receiver. Johnson and Jace Brown not on the same page on that slant. There was some room there.
Yeah, it looked like it took a little too long on the handoff from Avery. And Jace Brown was coming. He was open, but he was way too far inside. Give yourself a 3rd and long against a defense that hasn't played particularly well on 3rd down. They've given up 48%, 130th in the FBS.
Three straight pass attempts to start the game. Avery Johnson incomplete and nearly intercepted. Maybe a little late on that throw intended for Jerron Tibbs. Parker Robertson in coverage. The safety came up, and boy, he nearly had a chance to pick that off.
Avery Johnson felt pressure, threw the ball over there, but he could not get that to Jerron Tibbs, like you said. That was an excellent play by Robertson. Just coming over the top, getting that hand down and knocking the ball away. This is where the Oklahoma State defense has been really struggling. That has to be encouraging for them to make a play like that.
Simon McClannon will punt it away for Kansas State. Gavin Freeman is the return man. A wobbly spiral. Fair catch called for and made at the 31-yard line. Pair of 3 and outs to start this game. No score between K-State and Oklahoma State from Stillwater.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Mid-70s in mid-November. It's not always like this in Stillwater this time of year. We're thankful for it today. Here are 3 and outs. First for Oklahoma State and then for Kansas State. Second offensive possession of the game for the Cowboys from their own 31-yard line. Off, and that's lost yardage on first down. And Sam Jackson is the motion man.
Yeah, your defense just coming down, doing a really nice job on the edge right there. Obi Izor, excuse me, was coming down and just did a nice job of pinning and then getting over and making a nice tackle.
Sophomore out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Obi Izor. 18th tackle of the season. That's Brousseau, the tight end, who was split out wide as the motion man. Flores looking to dump it off. He throws it late. And that'll pick up a couple of yards. Going to bring up 3rd down and long as Sam Jackson is able to haul it in.
I love about K-State's defense is that one guy replaces. So the end gets blocked in. They got another guy coming, and then they have one for coverage. There was nowhere really for that play to go.
3rd and 10 for the Cowboys. Flores from the pocket, throws, and he completes it across the middle. That's Gavin Freeman trying to get to the line to gain. He picks up enough for the first down. That'll move the chains and keep the drive alive after a gain of 13.
He's been playing pretty well here lately, and Freeman with a nice job after the catch. Catches the ball, has one guy, makes him miss, makes another miss. Really doing a nice job. A former walk-on when he was at Oklahoma, transferred here, and has done a nice job here over the last few weeks. Had 7 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown last week.
That was in the loss to Kansas. Freeman leads this team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. This time it's Flores keeping it, getting to the outside, and he's got a ton of green in front of him. To the 30, and he runs out of bounds there and avoids the contact. A gain of 25 for Zane Flores.
Does he think he's Sam Jackson, the 5th? I mean, he was really rolling. They don't expect this, but look, counter and use the quarterback. He gets outside, and once that defender misses, there's no one out there for him. That's not what Flores is known to do, but he showed some real good ability to get outside on that play.
Zane Flores had a nose for the end zone in high school, 3 years removed now, but he had 29 rushing touchdowns in 3 years as a starter at Gretna High in Nebraska. Threw for 9,000 yards as a high school quarterback. He dumps this one off incomplete. Trying to get it to his tight end, Grayson Brousseau. Just as well that was incomplete, would have been a loss.
Well, and talking to the defensive staff for Kansas State, they were just concerned with what they would see from Oklahoma State. Would it be tempo? Would it be some of those things? Would it be, different personnel groupings? And already you can see a couple of big plays. Their main thing was limit explosives. We've already seen one by Zane Flores.
Rodney Fields, the running back, off the right hip of Flores. Kansas State bring pressure a couple of times. They'll get rid of it quickly here. Pass is complete to Gavin Freeman. Short gain, and a couple of those quick, long out routes have been low throws from Flores.
The ball hadn't really gotten to the receiver that he wants. Zane is 4 or 5 so far on the day. Gavin Freeman, a guy that is really a key weapon, and on 3rd down, you look for him if you're the quarterback.
Picked up 3, 3rd and 7. Fields is the motion man toward the backfield. They look that way. Now Flores going to keep it. He'll lose yards. Back to the 30-yard line, and the field goal team will come on for Oklahoma State. Malcolm Alcorn Crowder. His coach has described him as disruptive, and he was there.
Well, and also on the outside, the defensive backs did a nice job of not letting anything happen. And Zane Flores just had to take it up. And Alcorn Crowder was just like, man, I'm gonna keep adding to my legend of disruptiveness.
Logan Ward, a 47-yard field goal attempt, and that one is right down the gut. Oklahoma State strikes first. Logan Ward gets the Cowboys on the board. 3-zip here at Stillwater. Last time that Kansas State won here in Stillwater, 2017, had a big lead. Byron Pringle, 3 receiving touchdowns, also returned to kickoff. But a furious fourth quarter rally, 21 points in the fourth quarter from Oklahoma State. Wildcats had to hang on for dear life at the end of that ball game. They escaped with a win, 45-40. You see Mike Gundy and Bill Snyder with the post-game handshake. That's the only time since 1999 that Kansas State has won. You see the Cowboys lead the all-time series here at Stillwater, 24-9. 8 of the last 9 in this building belong to Oklahoma State.
It's crazy when teams get in your head, but that's one of those situations.
J.B. Price on the return for Kansas State. He'll get it just across the 25-yard line.
And if you look at the rest of the year for Kansas State, what they have to do, they've got Utah at Utah, and then Colorado, who's been struggling. But you want to get this win if you're them, because it gives you a good opportunity to do what you can against Utah on the road, but then you don't want to have it to be you have to win the last 2 if you're K-State.
Avery Johnson in the offense back out for the second time today, a 3 and out. They'll start things on the ground here with Joe Jackson. Jackson to the outside, out to the 35. That's good for 10 yards. And a first down for the Wildcats as Eric Fletcher, redshirt freshman from Fort Myers, Florida, makes the tackle.
Wide zone, and you're able to find that crease on the outside. Joe Jackson, they want him to have a big game. Lineman locked up on those defensive linemen, and then you just find a way and find the crease. That was a nice run.
Braden Lofton, the tight end, that's kind of lined up in that H-back spot. He comes and gets the kick-out block, but Avery Johnson held on to the football and paid for it.
Everybody was fooled, even myself. Parker Robinson's coming off the edge. You called it. Lofton is coming over the block, but man, Robinson, 2 big plays early. Look, and Avery Johnson probably should have let that ball go, but Parker Robinson was on a run blitz and says, I'm here. I'm not going to let him get anywhere.
And if he hands it off, that's an effective enough block. But with the quarterback still get the football, different story. How about the former walk-on Parker Robertson with the big sack there? Now a completion to Garrett Oakley. That's his 31st catch of the year. Because of the lost yardage, it's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
And Robertson is playing his tail off already. He's just showing up all over the place. And that's what they need out of the secondary. This secondary has not played well. When you watch them on tape, there's guys that aren't in position where they need to be. They're not doing certain things. But when you got a guy like Parker Robinson showing you early on, this should get that secondary going.
Robertson, a 5th-year senior out of Dallas Christian in Rockwall, Texas. Pressure, Avery Johnson bounces this one. He's going to be short of the first down mark. Anyway, it's some early momentum for the Cowboys.
What they did there in particular, too, was force Avery Johnson to scramble. And then when he scrambles, there's nowhere for him to throw the football. And they also have spies on him, doing a nice job. Look at 5. You're going to see 5 trying to look him up right there. Brian McCoy. So if he sees him take off, he says, I'm going to be there in that B gap to make sure you can't outrun me here, and there's nowhere for Avery Johnson to go.
So after the initial first down on the run play, lost yardage the rest of the drive. Gavin Freeman will take this one at the 18, trying to make a couple of guys miss. He does, and scrambles his way back to about the 20-yard line. Oklahoma State with a 3-0 lead at home at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. Coming up next on ABC and the all-new ESPN app, it's number 4 Alabama hosting 11th-ranked Oklahoma. And then tonight at 7:30 Eastern, Arch Manning and number 10 Texas square off against Gunnar Stockton and the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Big day of football, the SEC on ABC. Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia has not always had the reputation for being the most difficult place to play.
It can be.
Tonight it will be between the hedges at night. Flores looking to take a shot down the middle of the field, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Cam Abshire. Abshire was open, had a little bit of space there.
In that Kansas loss, Flores was 22 of 28, 78.6%, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Probably one of his better games on tape. Didn't get the win, but they felt like there were some things they could have done better as a team to even help him more.
Second and 10 after the incompletion. There's a catch and a good open field tackle. Abshire brought down. A flag comes in at the end. That was Fortenberry that brought Abshire down. Check the marker. Big 12 officiating crew. Kevin Boitman is our referee today. I didn't see which official threw that flag, but they got their money's worth. That was one of the ones.
There is no foul for talking on the play. Brings up third down.
It came, didn't it? I mean,
This is what they were looking at the end. So
the previous play is under review for potential targeting.
They don't call targeting on the field, but the replay officials are going to take a look at this one.
Wesley Fair, number 18, coming in late after Fortenberry already has him down.
Fair, the sophomore from Wichita, Kansas. So looking for the indicator. Fair goes in, drops his head. I don't think you've got Brown there.
And the hard part is Abshard's going down. You're just making a play on him. You hit him almost in his back. Yeah.
Think targeting there?
That doesn't look like the letter of the law from a targeting standpoint.
You do have the forcible contact to the head or neck area that's a piece of that. Kind of gotten out of the business of guessing which way these are going to go, one way or the other. We'll say out of the gate, you and I were talking about this during the break, this Oklahoma State team has come out with some energy, especially on the defensive side today. They look like a team that's refreshed a little bit. They had played 7 consecutive games prior to the open date last week.
Yeah, and I think that was the one thing when you look at this team, what they were able to do in the bye week is really get guys healthy, also establish who wants to be here. You know, that's the one thing that you need to know is who's on board. And that's the hardest thing to do when you have an interim head coach and you're going through those changes.
So here's Kevin Boykman,
After
our
further
referee.
review, the ruling in the field of no targeting is upheld. It will be third down.
I was with you. I felt like that wasn't a targeting call. I've seen so many of them. I didn't want to guess, but just from watching that and looking at that and reading the rules that I have and I keep right by me, that was clearly not a targeting. You know, I got this from November 12th of 2022. I want to make sure I have everything that I can refer to on that one.
Sesi Vailahi in the backfield with Flores on this snap. He goes in motion to the bottom of your screen. So an empty backfield for Flores. He'll go to the air. It's batted at the line of scrimmage and incomplete.
Ryan Davis got that big paw. Nice spin move, and he's able to get his hand and knock that ball away.
I know you're going to like his position. He's the buck.
I love it. Look at him get his hands, and he's got 3 guys around him. And Ryan Davis had a nice spin move. He was injured earlier this year, playing a lot better. Look at that, 52 getting that hand up.
So players, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hand up. This one returnable, but not much room there for Sterling Lockett. Kick off your Week 11 NFL Sunday at 10 Eastern tomorrow morning with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and all the all-new ESPN app. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up until kickoff. 3-0 our score here in Stillwater, Oklahoma State. A field goal from Logan Ward, the difference right now. Avery Johnson and the Kansas State offense have been held in check so far. Just 1 first down. With 3 and out on their first drive, picked up the first down on first down in their second possession, and then couldn't get much after that, and there's nothing there for Avery Johnson. Brandon Rawls was the first one there. That's actually not Avery Johnson in the game at quarterback right now. That's Blake Barnett, the redshirt freshman from Erie, Colorado.
They're using a dual quarterback setup. Interesting.
So lined up behind center is Blake Barnett. That's Avery Johnson off to his right. Barnett's going to keep it and get out across the 30. Yet Avery Johnson kind of leaking out to the right, perhaps setting up that double pass opportunity.
Yeah, they got a little package for him. You'll see that sometime. I also have to say much kudos to Clint Bowen, former offensive analyst, has been a former DC, but he's taking over the defensive coordinator position, and he has done a really nice job of simplifying this defense, allowing those guys to play fast and free.
Said they're thinking less and just going and making plays. An empty set for Avery Johnson on 3rd and long. Wildcats 0 for 2 so far today on 3rd down. Timeout taken by Kansas State before the snap. The play clock winding down.
Timeout, Kansas State. Their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Not much success so far offensively for Kansas State. Is there anything in particular that you've seen early?
Well, I would say Parker Robinson has been all over. He's been on the line. He's been back. He's done a nice job. But this defensive front also has not allowed Avery Johnson to just run free. We've seen where he can get a big home run. They've managed that. And then they've also put him in 3rd and long situations, which is tough for any defense. And I think this is the one thing when we were talking to the coaching staff, they wanted to see how their back end was going to play Oklahoma State. They felt like their front 7 was playing pretty well. But the back end today, Richard, looks like they're in man position. They're doing the things they need to do. And I think that's the reason why Avery Johnson has struggled so far in this game.
Couple of tackles for loss, a sack in the game already. Brian Rawls leading the way with 3 tackles for the Oklahoma State defense. Showing pressure on 3rd and 9. Now they back out of it. Delayed pressure. Here's a pass over the middle of the field. That's behind the intended target. Garrett Oakley, who does have a catch today. He's on the Mackey watch list, but that throw behind him, and they force another Kansas State punt.
This is what they want Oakley to do a better job of. Y option. He doesn't need to go that far in. He needs to just stay right there. Avery Johnson will hit him away from the defense, and that's a 1st down. So they're just not on the same page. You can just tell Avery Johnson was a little frustrated after that one. But in talking to the staff, they really want to see Oakley get even better. As many catches as he has chances to get more. Flag on this play as well.
This ball hits and it rolls. And Kansas State going to down it right at the 15-yard line. We'll check the penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage. As it stands, a 53-yard punt with no return. That's a couple of 50-plus yard punts today for McClellan.
Offside, number 14 on the defense. Five-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Such a good kick, you almost wonder. Got guys that are offside, and right there, just too early. But
Landon Cleveland, who got into the neutral zone, and because of that punt all the way down to the 16-yard line, Doug Meacham elects to make Kansas State punt this one again.
Kansas State is elected to decline the penalty to be 1st down.
Beg your pardon. Flip that around. It was offsides on Oklahoma State, and Chris Kleiman says, no, we're not going to punt it again. We'll go to the 15-yard line. Let's take a look around the CFP landscape as we count down to the CFP National Championship, brought to you by AT&T. Conferences and their chance to get multiple teams in. The SEC, 2 or more, 3 or more, yeah, probably going to happen. Likely for the Big Ten as well, less so for the Big 12 and the ACC. Heard people talking about that potential doomsday scenario for the ACC.
Now there's a late flag here.
Came way in the defensive backfield.
Personal foul, face mask, number 29, defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Nigel Thomas called for the face mask, and so that'll get Oklahoma State out of a hole.
Starting to see some frustration from Kansas State, a team that scores 33.3 points per game in conference play. Struggling so far, and their defense has played pretty well, but they're going to have to against this Oklahoma State offense, which is starting to get some encouragement and confidence.
Now from the 34. Speed sweep to the outside. And a good run there for Oklahoma State. Gavin Freeman picking up first down yardage.
He's able to just get outside. I mean, once they give him that handoff, he's able to move around the edge and pick up some really nice yards. Got a Kansas State defense that wants to limit explosive plays and third down percentages, but this Oklahoma State team is just attacking them.
This time they fake the sweep and then swing it out to Gavin Freeman. He tries to hurdle a man and gets popped in the air. That's a loss of a couple of yards on the play.
Moss came over and he took a shot.
Clay Moss playing that star position. He is still on the ground, slow to get up.
The staple for both of these teams is physicality. He's coming in late, and Freeman tries to hurdle him. Almost.
Maybe that kind of left arm, he was kind of pulling into his body after the contact, and worried perhaps about that left shoulder a little bit. Looks like that's the area that the trainers are focused on as well. It's going to bring up a second down and 12. See Clay Moss from West Point, Georgia, and a transfer from the University of West Georgia. Alongside Charles Arbuckle, Richard Cross with you in Stillwater on a beautiful Saturday. I mentioned a second ago what we were talking about with the ACC, the doomsday scenario. One of the things that I think is a misconception for a lot of people is that Power 4 conference champions automatically get into the playoff, and that's just not the case. It's the highest ranked, the 4 highest ranked conference champions from any league.
Yeah. And that's why there's so much going on with that. If you're the ACC, you want to have an opportunity to have a team, but there's been just so much going on in that conference this year.
A lot of conversation about Duke. Only one ACC loss with them could potentially get to the conference championship game. These are the CFP rankings right now. Texas A&M, the highest ranked SEC team at number 3. You've got, of course, Ohio State at number 1 with 6 Big Ten teams in the CFP top 25. Miami, the highest ranked team from the ACC there at number 15. A couple of losses for the Hurricanes, trying to finish out the season strong and perhaps play their way. Floors to the air, and this one is dropped. Christian Fitzpatrick. A good throw that time from Floors, and Fitzpatrick just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, he put it right on him. And if you're Fitzpatrick, you got to come away with that. Transfer from Marshall. I think the real key is these are the kind of plays that hold the team down when you're losing. This is a catch for you. You come around the edge. You've got a quarterback that puts it through that passing window. You got to come away with that.
Mentioned him leaving Marshall. That was a mass exodus from that program after Charles Huff left Marshall, took the job at Southern Miss. He's got Southern Miss playing really good football in his first year in Hattiesburg. Wide open receiver on the outside. That's Shamar Rigby. And Rigby's going to be knocked down at the 32-yard line, but another first down for the Cowboys as they're driving and trying to add to a 3-0 lead.
Rigby is a guy that has played well for him. 6'3", 190, transfer from Purdue, catches the football, yards after catch, talks a lot about his wide receiver room and all the things they're trying to do to finish this season strong.
For Rigby, it was his 17th catch of the year. Big play there, gain of 25 for Oklahoma State. Floors with an empty backfield, throws this one backwards, looking for the double pass. They come back to Floors, and that's covered well. Kansas State stayed at home. Jordan Allen with the tackle. The first man there was Travis Bates.
Bates did a nice job of staying home. You know the ball's going to come back. You see something fishy. All those people in position. Watch 39. He doesn't make the tackle, but he's the first one there to ensure that Jordan Allen can clean up the trash.
Floors back to the air. Complete.
Anytime Sam Jackson gets the ball on the reverse or he's sitting in a situation, if you're the defense, you know something's going on because he's a former quarterback. Played quarterback at TCU and Cal, was a wide receiver at Auburn.
Jackson's done a little bit of everything, including playing quarterback for a couple of games this year for the Cowboys with injuries plaguing that position. 3rd down and 12 and a timeout taken. It's going to be taken by Oklahoma State with 30 seconds left in this opening quarter.
Will be 30 seconds.
Got a team in Kansas State trying to get bowl eligibility, but man, this Oklahoma State team says, look, I don't care what you got. We're out here to play. Doug Meacham talked about that quite a bit, too.
Yeah, and he talked about the challenge that this team has. Obviously, for a long time, they've known that there's going to be a coaching change here after Mike Gundy was let go. And so you've got a roster full of players trying to figure out where they're going to be. And at times, players taking visits to potential schools, but then coming back and playing on the weekends. And Doug Meacham said, I don't like it, but I do appreciate the guys that are sticking with us and they're showing up on game day and playing with everything they've got every week.
It's a new college football. And
it is.
I think he said, look, we just got to accept what it is and have guys ready to play when they get here.
3rd and 12 on the ground. Down inside the 30. That's Vailahi on the carry. That's probably going to be the last play of this opening quarter. Oklahoma State has 4th down coming up. They've already kicked a field goal. Logan Ward good from 47 yards earlier today. A 4th and 9 and a decision for Doug Meacham and the Cowboys offense. 15 minutes in the books here in Stillwater. A 3-0 lead for the Cowboys, who are looking for their 2nd win of the season. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Gorgeous Saturday in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Logan Ward on to try a 47-yard field goal for the 2nd time today. And so early in the first quarter gave the Cowboys a 3-0 lead. This from the middle of the field, and that is center cut. Right down the gut, and it's 6-0. Logan Ward with his 2nd field goal make of the day.
This offense has done what it can do, getting them in position, being able to kick 2 field goals.
So for Kansas State, good news, bad news, right? The bad news is you really haven't done anything offensively. The good news is you've held Oklahoma State to a pair of field goals.
We're thinking the same thing. I think if you're Kansas State, that's what you tell your team. You now figure out how to get this thing going. Chris Klieman said it best. One of the last things he said, we have to win the line of scrimmage. Right now, that's not happening. So that goes to show you what can your O-line do and what can your D-line do and getting Avery Johnson back on track.
Worth noting for the Oklahoma State defense, held an opponent scoreless in the first quarter for the first time this season.
You know, it was just interesting talking to all of their staff, in particular Doug Meacham, about how that 7th game stretch, it's like they saw no light at the end of the tunnel. And when we talked to Kansas State, they're having 3 byes this year because of that early season game against Iowa State and how that's impacted Iowa State and them at this point in the season.
Bryce Nornberg will field this one, returnable from the 5-yard line. He's got good speed in the open field, but there's not much room, and he's knocked down short of the 25. Fair catch would have taken it out to the 25, so now Kansas State's offense seeing if in the 2nd quarter they can get a little something going.
K-State doesn't want to see that drive chart. I mean, 2 yards, 7 yards, 1 yard. That's 10 yards in 3 drives. That's not
math.
good. Yeah, hey, my UCLA math even knows that ain't good.
Avery Johnson, the junior quarterback, Played sparingly as a freshman, but ended up being the MVP of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. In fact, he is the 2-time MVP of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That pass incomplete.
He just doesn't look comfortable, Richard. I mean, every time I've watched him throw in the last 3 drives, it's either too far inside. Even that first early slant, when the receiver was open, he held the ball long, but everything has just been off. There's nowhere in the catch radius, and that's as good an effort as you're going to get from Jerron Tibbs, who was out early on the jugs machine. I mean, he was snagging balls on the jugs early on.
Johnson, one of just 4 quarterbacks in the country with 16 or more touchdowns through the air and 7 or more rushing touchdowns. He picks up good yardage there out close to the 30-yard line. Raymond Gay ran him out of bounds.
That speed, anytime you can get him one-on-one and get him outside, Raymond Gay tries to cut that angle, but he's still able to pick up 7 yards.
And that's a little different look from Avery Johnson, because more times than not, when you see him take off, it's more up the middle on a straight line.
I think they made that adjustment, though, because Oklahoma State had been taking those away, and they're trying to get them out on the edge.
Bunch set tight to the line. Quick pass. That's a first down and more for Jace Brown. Brown all the way out to the 45-yard line. Gain of 18 on the play.
And a nice, easy throw and catch by those two. Remember how we were talking about he wasn't really on point? This is on point. And then you give it to a guy that's got this ability. Boom, I'm by you. Okay, I know you're there. I got you. Oh, Parker, you're going to come over, hit me late, man. I'm going to get you next time.
First 3rd down conversion and the biggest gain of the day for Kansas State on that play. Now a handoff to Antonio Martin and a burst up the middle.
And it looks like they have now said we're going to run a little bit of this tempo and get after this defensive line and attack. Antonio Martin with a really nice carry there. Only 6 on the year, but a 10-yard run. And he has 19 yards on the season.
Leave him in the game. Give it to him again. Matt Wells is the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Kansas State. Speaks glowingly of his quarterback, Avery Johnson, as Martin fights his way back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
it's an interesting melding of offensive philosophies and concepts. Matt Wells, traditionally more of an air raid guy. You think about Chris Kleiman, the head coach, the way they played at North Dakota State, that was full-on smash-mouth football, and they blended those two philosophies. Martin with some room, and then he is met by multiple black jerseys leading the way. Malik Charles. Ryan McCoy was the second man there.
Yeah. And that's the one thing. You got to have a good game with Rawls and McCoy, not only in the running game against the running backs, but those 2 young men are going to be the spies on Avery Johnson in these kind of situations. In 3rd down, they're going to keep their eyes on him. Look for 5 or 6, depending on what the formation is, to really pay attention to number 2.
K-State converted its first 3rd down of the game earlier on this drive. Not much there for Avery Johnson, trying to get to the outside again on a quarterback sweep. And there was nowhere for him to go.
This Oklahoma State defense has done a nice job of just being in position. Look at all these guys going to the short edge of the field. Look at those black jerseys staying on the outside, not letting him have anywhere to run, and then converging on him. That's how you have to tackle a guy that fast.
Punt team comes on for Kansas State. Simon McClanahan has already had multiple 50-yard punts. He doesn't need that here. Going to try and pin the Cowboys deep. 12 times this year, McClanahan's been able to get a punt to die inside the 20. Flags come in, and this one is caught and covered beautifully by the special teams unit for Kansas State. That was Jack Fabris. Oklahoma State was having some substitution issues at the very end there.
A lot going on that play.
Looked like they only had 10 on the field and then ran one on late.
Yeah. The punt returner saw there was an open receiver, so he gets there. So substitution issues ensue.
Kevin Boitman and this officiating crew sorting it out. And this could possibly bring the Kansas State offense back onto the field, because you're going to be 4th and short. Here we go.
There were 2 fouls, both against the defense. Illegal substitution, 12 players in the field. That penalty is declined. Running into the kicker on the defense, 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but you're going to see this open player down here, and there's no one covering him. And then you also see a player coming on late, and the punt returner running down to go cover. So there was a lot of stuff happening, and then running into the punter. You know, one of those that you shouldn't do is the punter's going to always fall. He's going to always play Hollywood on you, but there's no way you should run into the punter on that particular play.
So here it is, the Kansas State offense back on the field after the 5-yard penalty from the 37-yard line. 38-yard line, rather. Got to take it across the 30. So 4th down and a long 3 for Kansas State. Oakley in motion. Now he sets. Flag comes in. The pass is complete. For now, that is enough for the first down. Jerron Tibbs catching the slant, but we'll check the marker.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. Number 74 was too far off the line. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
Offensive linemen have to make sure they're on the line of scrimmage, and they're trying to get in position to make sure they have a block.
I think it was the right tackle, Terrence Enos.
Yeah, watch Enos, 74. You're always trying to get in position, but you got to make sure you are on that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, where his feet were a full 2 yards behind where the ball was lined up. So we will punt again. McClannon, end over end, fair catch called for, made it the 11, and another flag comes in over on the Oklahoma State sideline.
We'll get some plays in between these flags.
It's like Oprah right now. You get a flag, you get a flag, you get a flag.
Everybody gets a flag.
During the kick, holding. Number 13 on the return kick. Half the distance to the goal line from the end of the kick. First down.
10:39 left in this second quarter. It's a 6-0 lead for Oklahoma State. Wildcats will start from deep in their own territory when we come back. Six 0 our score. Oklahoma State with a lead at home over Kansas State. A building that has been difficult for the Wildcats. Just one win here in the last 26 years. Here's Flores. He takes off, finds a little bit of room, and turns that into a positive play with the pocket collapsing around him.
Flores has been surprisingly effective running the football today. Man,
Picked up 11 there.
Yeah, I mean, he sees that he doesn't have anybody there. He knows his man. He's got blockers up front. And he's being decisive. And when you do that as a runner, you give yourself a chance.
You saw Asa Newsome there, kind of got his hands around his ankles, but couldn't bring Flores down. Now on the ground, a first down carry out to about the 24. Rex Van Wine on the tackle.
Let's also remember, Austin Romaine is not in the game. He had been a key contributor for this linebacking crew, so we're seeing a lot of different young players. Desmond Purnell is one of their key guys, but you just call Rex Van Wine, Asa Newsom, Gabe Powers. You're seeing a lot of different players play in place of Austin Romaine.
Romaine, the junior from Hillsboro, Missouri. He was averaging 7 tackles a game, on the watch list for the Nagurski, the Butkus, and the Bednarik Award. So a big loss for the Kansas State defense not having him on the field. Trying to get it to the outside. Fields with some room. And he's going to be run out at the 31-yard line.
Well, you show one way and go the other. There's Romaine there. I know he wants to be in the game. He's going to be coaching, like you said, Richard, 7 tackles a game. He was really starting to come on the last few weeks as well. Playing with the club and just still being disruptive. Had an interception last week before they decided to put him on the shelf for the season.
Ilahi back into the game at running back. He releases out of the backfield, and Flores has his arm hit, and it's intercepted. Zayshawn Rich with the interception. Flores was looking to take a deep shot there, had his arm hit, and the ball just fluttered up into the middle of the field.
Ryan Davis coming off the edge gets to him, so 25 Rich better go thank Ryan Davis. Davis is able to get there and just disrupt Zane Flores.
And that's something that this Kansas State defense has done so well. They forced only 3 turnovers in the first 3 games of the year. That's number 17 in the last 7 games. They are plus 20 in takeaways for the season. College football playoff bracket based on the current rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. You see top 5 unchanged. Ohio State at 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5. After their win last week over BYU, you saw Texas Tech jump over Ole Miss to number 6. Best starting field position of the game for Kansas State. They're on the plus side of the 50. Avery Johnson, plenty of time, and now he dumps it off at the last second. That's Joe Jackson, who was the safety valve.
And look at how he can impact you. He just fakes it real quick and then able to get it out to Joe Jackson.
You see, with that interception from Kansas State, they get to 20 forced turnovers this season. That's tied for 4th in the country. Jackson down to the 39. And by the way, before the break, I said they were plus 20.
I know.
That's a little aggressive. They're plus 7 as a team in turnover margin.
But since 2022, they forced 82 turnovers. This team, that's what they want to do. And when you talk to their defensive coordinator, it's their MO. That's how they want to get after you.
Wildcats just 1 of 5 on 3rd down today. They've got 3rd down and a yard. Joe Jackson off to the left of Avery Johnson. Johnson looking to throw. He's got time, taking a shot. One-on-one on the outside, and that ball is incomplete. Tibbs had it in his hands, couldn't hang on. J.K. Johnson in coverage, knocks it away.
But I know they're going for the kill shot because they're going to go for it on 4th down. He has the opportunity, can't put it away. Nice job of pulling it out at the very end by J.K. Johnson. Tibbs, I thought, had it. Look at Johnson fighting to the ground and through the play. And like I said,
you make that play call because
they're going for it on 4th down. It's such 4th and short. They said, we're going to attack and go after you, and now we're going to come quick.
Avery Johnson this time from under center. Will it just be a quarterback sneak? No, it's a quick toss. And that's a stop short of the 1st down. A flag came in on the play.
It's either going to be offsides or illegal formation. Anytime that flag comes in like that.
Is everybody set for Kansas State at the snap, or are you going to have an offside on the Cowboys?
Offside. Defense. Player was lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That is what you try to do as an offense, to get there quick, because you always know those guys aren't going to pay attention to their alignment and assignment, and they're going to be offsides or in the neutral zone. They get the stop, but it's overturned. That was a great defensive effort, but you can't be offsides.
So a gift there for Kansas State with the 5-yard penalty gives them a fresh set of downs, trailing 6-0. Avery Johnson pulls it, throws the slant. Jace Brown into the end zone. Touchdown, K-State.
Richard, you have a chance to get a first down. You don't get it. You extend it, and as soon as you come back, you strike. Jace Brown with a nice catch and run. Avery Johnson starting to look like he's getting that rhythm. I mean, he's going to hit him on this slant. When you've got that, what you're going to have is when you fake that ball, it brings everybody down. And Jace Brown, if he catches it, he's going to score.
5th touchdown catch of the year for Jace Brown. Extra point from Luis Rodriguez. He's a perfect 32 for 32 this season. Whistle before the snap. We'll go back to the touchdown one more time. And Jace Brown running a pretty simple slant. Takes it into the end zone, and Kansas State with their first lead of the ball game. Avery Johnson with a touchdown pass to Jace Brown. 17th touchdown toss of the year for Johnson. 5th reception, scoring reception for Jace Brown. And we've got a new game with Kansas State now in front, 7-6. A couple of first quarter field goals. One in the first quarter, one on the first play of the second quarter for Oklahoma State. Charles, let's go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, you've got 2 defenders, and you also have a guy that's really good and effective on this play fake. Watch Avery Johnson. When he pulls it right there, you're going to see that middle defender come, and then Jace Brown is going to get right behind him. That vacates that area, and look, right there, the throw is, and he's too far up. He can't come back, but Avery Johnson knows, I've got you. And that's the beauty of that, because he can see him. Play action pass used to be you would turn your back and you couldn't see the defender. Now with the way we do RPO and zone read, you see those guys and you know where the area is.
Rodney Fields in the backfield with Zane Flores. Hand off to Fields, and he's going to burst up the middle. Good first down run. That'll be a gain of 9.
He's starting to get healthy too. That was the one thing they said about Rodney Fields. Being able to be healthy in this offense and helping Zane Flores in this offense be productive.
He's averaging better than 5 yards per carry, but only 1 rushing touchdown this season for Rodney Fields Jr. Quick pass to the outside. That's Royal Capel. First down catch. Now across the 40-yard line. Kind of a wild day already in college football. A lot of football to play in a lot of places. South Carolina 3-6 on the year, 1 win in the SEC with a 20-3 lead over undefeated third-ranked Texas A&M in College Station.
It always seems like in November you're going to see these crazy kind of games, and we're getting it today.
Flores flushed, flips it complete. Fields breaks a tackle. BJ Payne ultimately brought him down. Not just College Station, though. How about Annapolis, Maryland, where Navy has a 24-9 lead over South Florida?
You got a guy in Fields, too, that can catch the ball out of the backfield. 22 catches on the year coming into today's ball game. And he shows you some ability there. Only 1 rushing touchdown, but 1 receiving touchdown on the year as well.
Big one today happening in the Big 12 in Cincinnati, where Bearcats lead at 14-7 over Arizona. Home here, out to midfield. That should be another first down for Oklahoma State as this offense is getting into a little bit of a rhythm.
I like what they did with Grayson Brusso. Take him outside, he becomes a blocker, and they just give a convoy effect. Terrell Davis We've got a lot of early games and even some games tonight.
Trent Howland in the backfield. First down from midfield for Oklahoma State. A couple of field goals so far for the Cowboys. This is Fields in another big hole. Just rips one off for his average on the season, just a hair over 5 yards, and a very manageable second down.
They are gashing the interior on this defensive line on this drive, and it's just been Fields. It's been the Fields show. Holland with also a little bit of to add into it as well, but both of these guys have run the ball effectively.
I should correct myself. That was Trent Howland on that last carry, the 5-yard gain. Howland again. He's close to the first down marker. Gunnar Maldonado with the tackle, the free safety coming up and making the stop.
I didn't think he was going to get many yards because he had his offensive lineman on that counter coming out in front of him, but he got there and just squirted through. Here, line of scrimmage game, this defensive line has to figure out, and if you're Oklahoma State, you just keep leaning on those guys, making sure you give ample time to the running back or the quarterback.
Third down and a yard. Feels like, if necessary, 2-down territory here for Oklahoma State. Howland fights his way across the 40. That'll move the chains and bring out a fresh set of downs.
And I think Doug Meacham talked about it too, being an air raid guy. A lot of people think air raid means you just want to throw the ball all over the yard. But he's always had that propensity to want to run the football effectively to set up everything. And he said in a perfect world, he would have 10 and 12 personnel. That's all he would run.
Flores flips it out. Safety valve incomplete.
Yeah.
Trying to get that one to Fields. Good pressure up the middle that time for Kansas State.
Kansas State said, okay, enough of this. We've seen you kind of march down the field on us, and we're going to start dialing up a little bit. Flores could never get comfortable in that position.
10 first half first downs for Oklahoma State. They are doubling up the Wildcats.
But they have to put points on the board, and I think they know that, and K-State knows it as well.
2nd and 10. Back to the ground. And not much there this time for Fields.
Talked a lot about these young linebackers having to step up and make plays. Desmond Purnell he was out for a few plays. He's back in. He's basically the green dot, the guy that has the signals and communicates everything to his front.
Purnell had huge moments against TCU earlier this year on back-to-back plays. He had a sack and then followed it up with a pick six. Only player in college football that has pulled off that combination this year.
2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout. 7-6. Kansas State in front of Oklahoma State.
It's win and you're in. Look at him go. And he did not get there. And they're our Big 12 champions.
December 6th, just a few weeks from now, champion will be crowned in the Big 12. Now, was that a race or was that bumper car?
I was trying to figure it out myself.
3rd down and a 9 here. 3rd and 9 for Oklahoma State. In the air, and it's incomplete. Pass was off the mark. Intended that time for Terrell Davis, and Davis had a step on the defender.
And now you look at it in this situation, you're a little too far for the field goal, it looks like. Maybe they trust Logan here. He did say he could.
All at the 37. Make this about a 55-yard field goal try. Wind at his back. The long this season for Logan is 49.
It's not as windy as it can be in this building also.
Trying to put Oklahoma State back in front. Officially a 54-yard attempt, and it is short. No good. Didn't quite have the leg from 54.
Surprised Kansas State didn't put somebody back as a returner, because that was a little bit long for him. You know, they said 35-yard line when we talked to him. I guess they went a little bit longer because it's not as windy today. Yeah, he gets it down, kicks up, just not enough. But now you give K-State a short field. He's probably made that, but look how close. It's like my golf swing. I'm thinking I'm getting there, and it's all in the sand, and I'm thinking I hit the green.
Kansas State, 2 timeouts remaining. Plenty of time. You see the numbers for Avery Johnson. He's got the touchdown pass to Jace Brown. Wildcats trying to give themselves a little bit of breathing room with a 2-minute drill before the half. Avery Johnson keeps it and might have gotten a yard there. Gets out of bounds, which will stop the clock with 1:45 until the half.
How many times this week have guys heard, don't let 2 get outside? Don't let number 2 get outside. You can see the last couple of drives, they've done a lot better than the first 3 drives. But it's been because of some of the things they've been able to do with the running game and also Avery Johnson.
They needed to be better than 10 plays for 10 yards on 3 drives. Joe Jackson tries to bounce it to the outside, and a good open field tackle.
Parker Robertson, just call his name all day. I mean, he's going to end up with 11 or 12 the way he's playing right now. He's flying to the football. He's got 6 total tackles, 1 TFL, 1 breakup.
Parker Robertson had no offers out of high school. Walked on here at Oklahoma State, and he has been a star in the first half today. 3rd and 8. Clock running, closing in on a minute left in this opening half. Johnson steps up, lofts it over the middle, and it's Jace Brown hauling it in. That draws a roar from the Kansas State contingent in purple across the way.
Jace Brown was a little shaken up, but man, that was a nice strike by Avery Johnson. Stepped up in the pocket, didn't panic, and just got it to his receiver.
Gain of 30 on the pass play.
He averages 16.6 yards per catch.
He's got a couple today well over that mark. Quick pass. That's the tight end with a strong run. Garrett Oakley after the catch down to the 20-yard line.
I love how they use the Y option with Garrett Oakley, and he just gets open and uses that body to body people up and catch the ball.
Kansas State.
34 seconds until the half, and Kansas State uses one of its remaining 2 timeouts.
You got an Avery Johnson who seems to be getting more and more comfortable. And this to how he steps up, sees his receiver, goes to him. Nice grab by Jace Brown. And then you're going to see the big tight end, Garrett Oakley, just finding that open area. And Y option, you don't want to run into things. You want to see the quarterback, and he can see you, and he gets that ball right to him.
You perked up on our visit with Kansas State coaches the other day when you started talking about Y option. You loved that as a former tight end.
Yeah, I made my living on it. I mean, you know, Troy Aikman and I for 2 years, we were simpatico because I knew where to go and where he was going to put the ball. And if you get that comfortable with your quarterback like Avery Johnson is with Garrett Oakley, you're always going to be open, no matter what the defense does.
You ask about Matt Wells about Garrett Oakley's progression and continuing to get better. That's where he said more awareness, more precision with that particular route. Avery Johnson, a wheel route toward the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Because as many options as you have on that, you have to be accurate, and your quarterback needs to know where you're going to be. And that's really the key in any kind of Y option, Z option. That's whoever's the option guy, you can get open. But if your quarterback doesn't feel what you're going to do, it makes it a tough situation for you.
Clock stopped on the incomplete pass with 30 seconds until the half. Kansas State looking for a touchdown. Leading 7-6, trying to make it consecutive drives with touchdowns. One-on-one on the outside to the end zone, incomplete. Went to Tibbs again, trying to pick on Kenneth Harris, and so far, Kenneth Harris has been up to the task.
That was the same exact play. They tried it again. Kenneth Harris, 23, is just there with them. Throws the ball, gives him a chance, but
pretty good accuracy on that throw from Avery Johnson.
That was. The first one was a little off, but that second one, he said, okay, I'm going to just drop this in the bucket. Tibbs couldn't quite get to it.
Jackson in the backfield with Avery Johnson. He throws underneath, and it's intercepted. No, incomplete. Ball hit the ground at the end, and that is a big call. There's an opportunity still for points for Kansas State. They were trying to set up a screen.
Yeah, it looked like it hit off of Jackson, and it went into the hand. Yeah, tipped it, and Gay doesn't come up with it. He was the guy that was there. I think Avery threw that just too quickly for Joe Jackson. Jackson has to do a better job of getting in position for it, but he tries to catch it with one hand, and the ball takes off. They're fortunate that they don't give that up.
Interception.
Timeout.
Gift
Kansas
wrap
State.
there
They'll last
for
the half. It'll be a full
Raymond Gay
timeout.
the second. Just had it kind of slide through his arms and hit the ground. It's going to give Kansas State the opportunity to kick a field goal. Here's our Week 11 Monday Night Football matchup. It's Dak Prescott, C.D. Lamb of the Cowboys taking on Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, and the Las Vegas Raiders. It's 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with NFL Live at 3 Eastern in Las Vegas. Then it's SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew starting at 6 Eastern. A 38-yard field goal attempt for Luis Rodriguez. And it's no good. Rodriguez was 10 of 11 on the year, and he just missed that one.
Had a long of 51 against Arizona.
So the dropped interception does not come back to bite Oklahoma State. Kansas State can't convert on the field goal. 15 seconds until the half. Cowboys offense out onto the field. Kansas State will get the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred. So if Oklahoma State tries something here, Moore's looking to throw, and he completes it. Enough for a first down out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Sam Jackson on the catch.
10 seconds trying to put yourself in position maybe for a shot.
So do you try and go quick pass again, or is this something where you want to get it to a guy like Sam Jackson in the open field and see what he can do?
I would think you get this one out quick, give it to someone that can make something happen, and call a timeout.
Instead, they just put it on the ground. That's Howland, and Howland working his way down the sideline. He stepped out at the 44. There is 2 seconds left on the clock, and so now Oklahoma State will have a shot toward the end zone.
They caught Kansas State sleeping on that play. That's one where you think he's just going to hand it off. They're going to make a catch. Make a tackle. And right there goes out of bounds.
24-yard gain on the carry that time for Trent Howland. Now Flores. Kansas State going to try and put some pressure on him. Flores steps up, floats one toward the end zone, does not have a receiver there, and that's an interception to end the half. BJ Payne with his first interception of the year. Kansas State has forced multiple turnovers in each of the last 7 games. That's the longest active streak in FBS. 7-6 our halftime score.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is really Kansas State has finally found some offense, but Oklahoma State has really played well.
Stillwater, Oklahoma, a beautiful Saturday for this Big 12 matchup. Kansas State trying to get to bowl eligibility. They need 2 wins to do it. They lead by a point at the break. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday kickoff. Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where Kansas State leads by just a point, 7-6 at the half here at Boone Pickens Stadium. A really cool moment at halftime here at Boone Pickens Stadium. Justin Blackmon, one of the all-time greats at Oklahoma State. Well, his name is now immortalized in this stadium. He is added to the Cowboy Football Ring of Honor, joining names like Bob Fenimore, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, Terry Miller, and Leslie O'Neal. He gets that orange jacket. A really cool ceremony here at the half. Justin Blackmon, a 2-time Bolitnikoff Award winner. You think about his career here in Stillwater, 253 catches, over 3,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, and plenty of hardware on the shelves. What a career and what an honor for Justin Blackmon. We welcome you back into the booth alongside Charles Arbuckle. I'm Richard Cross. Thanks so much for being with us. Cool moment for Justin Blackmon and Cowboys football. Yeah,
very much so. I mean, when I look here, this is the first place I ever came as a high school player to camp, and it was because Thurman Thomas was 2 years older than me. He went to Willow Ridge, so it was awesome to see not only his name, Leslie O'Neal, but now Justin Blackmon in that Ring of Honor.
All right, this game today, 7-6, 1-point game at the half. Kansas State in front. They get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, K-State has to figure out how to keep that momentum they had in the end of the first half. I think if they can do that, Avery Johnson looked so much more comfortable, but they've got to really establish consistency now and make that happen even more. How about
113 rushing yards in the first half for Oklahoma State? Trent Howland, Rodney Fields, Flores all getting into the action, running the football.
That was the one thing they wanted to do today, is run the football effectively. They only had been at 126 yards per game, or 126.9, and they're already really close to that mark.
Shirts off, twirling them above your head has become a thing here in Stillwater. Well, you're reminded of the value of touchdowns versus field goals. Oklahoma State with a couple of scoring drives, a pair of 47-yard field goals from Logan Ward, but that one touchdown for for Kansas State has given them the lead, and now they get the ball to start this second half. Any adjustments you expect from K-State offensively?
Yeah, I think they'll go back to what they were doing well as far as running the football, and then also making sure that they can get Avery Johnson unleashed. He hadn't run the football as much as they want him to, and I think this Oklahoma State team has done a nice job of spying him and pushing him to where he doesn't want to go.
4 carries for 2 yards for Avery Johnson. As we told you just a couple of weeks ago, became the 3rd Kansas State quarterback all time with 5,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing. And he did it faster than anybody else.
Yeah, the other thing too, Richard, is staying in 3rd and short. You know, that 3rd and long early on in this game was a really big issue for K-State, and they have to figure out a way to get this now to 2nd and 3rd and short and put themselves in position to convert those 3rd downs.
Johnson surveying the field, and it's incomplete through the hands of Garrett Oakley. Do not see many drops by Oakley.
I was just getting ready to say the same thing. I mean, when you watch him on tape, he is always secure with the football. Avery Johnson did a nice job of looking one way outside and then coming back to him, which opened up the middle of the field. And Oakley wants that one back. He knows he should have had that.
Kansas State 2 of 8 on 3rd down in the game today. An empty backfield as Joe Jackson exits to the bottom of your screen. Pressure coming back over the middle, and it's intercepted. Parker Robertson, what a game he's had, and continues to have a turnover. Cardinal sin there for Avery Johnson, late and back over the middle.
They flushed him out and then forced him to throw against his body. Parker Robinson with his second interception on the season. But that's the thing they want to give him, a lot of different looks and cloud his vision post and pre-snap. Can't make this throw. And Parker Robinson is running with Oakley right there. He sees that ball and he attacks it. And throwing off your back foot and you're throwing into the middle, that's a tough, tough area. But Parker Robinson says, hey, give me that. I'll take that.
So a golden opportunity for Oklahoma State. Best starting field position of the game for the Cowboys, deep in Kansas State territory. Floors to the air. Rel Davis on the catch, making men miss, breaking ankles out there.
You want to have sudden change offense when you get a turnover like that. Terrell Davis just shows you how he can give you that sudden change. They honor Justin Blackman, and all these receivers now want to play a part in that.
23 yards on the pitch and catch. Again, 113 rushing yards in the first half for Oklahoma State. Rodney Fields Jr. is in the backfield, the redshirt freshman from Wright City, Oklahoma. He now moves off the left hip of Floors. Floors going to run the option. He'll pitch it out to Fields, and that is defended perfectly. Gunnar Maldonado there to make the tackle.
That was outstanding defense by K-State. Looked like they wanted to come and do a shovel pass underneath and then go to the option, but whatever it was covered completely by this K-State defense.
It's like a new quarterback into the game for Oklahoma State. Floors goes to the sidelines. That's Noah Walters, the redshirt junior from Lincoln, Nebraska. UCF transfer. Walters going to keep it, and he bursts up the middle, kind of pinballed around, and he fights his way down to the 8-yard line.
Fake of the jet sweep really gives him an opening, and when he sees it, Noah Walters just takes it. Watch the jet sweep, pulls everybody over. There's no one in the middle of the field. Zane Floors is coming back in. The initial hit by Gunnar Maldonado, but Walters with a nice run. This Oklahoma State offense, after their defense gifted them with the short field and scoring position.
Trying to get to the end zone for the first time today, but they're going to talk about it first. A timeout taken by Oklahoma State.
Timeout.
A 3rd and 6 coming up from the 9-yard line. Cowboys looking for their first touchdown of the game. A 1-point game. Turnover on the opening drive by Kansas State here in the second half. An interception from Parker Robertson, and now a 3rd down and 6 for the Cowboys from inside the 10-yard line, looking for their first touchdown of the game. Zane Floors looking to throw, has it knocked out of his hand from behind. Is it an incomplete pass or a fumble? There's no signal for incomplete pass. It was Cody Stufflebeam who knocked it out of Floors' hand, and it is ruled indeed a fumble and a recovery by the Wildcats.
Wow, we saw this from Ryan Davis in the first half, and then Cody Stufflebeam. Nice shot. Watch 47 on the edge, just getting around there and just knocking the ball out. Now you have one of the tight ends out today, but Grayson Brusso is blocking him, and that's a mismatch for Cody Stufflebeam. Nice job of knocking the ball away and getting Kansas State the ball right back. They have an Oklahoma State Cowboy in the vicinity, but he can't come up with the football. This defense is, when they've needed it, they've kind of shown up.
Floors rule his arm was not coming forward. Officials waiting to see if this is going to be reviewed further.
The ruling in the field of a fumble recovered by the defense is under further review.
If it stands, that is the third forced turnover in the game by a Kansas State team that has made a living doing that over the last 7 games.
They got a gift at the end of half, but those two by Ryan Davis and potentially by Stuffelbein. It didn't look like his hand was going forward. Let's watch again. As Zane Flores is working his way back, Stuffelbein gets right to him. It was actually Russo who had a chance at getting the recovery.
See, as the arm, right, contact happens. I mean,
right at the moment.
So close, so close.
He's ruled a fumble on the field.
You have a flashback to the snow. That was Raiders and
Raiders and
Patriots, wasn't it?
Yeah. It looked like to me he didn't get that thing going forward. I would say it's going to be a fumble. I mean, yeah, truly a fumble, not a forward pass, an incomplete pass.
Looking for indisputable
After further
video
review,
evidence.
The ruling in the field is upheld. First down, Kansas State.
So they stick with the call on the field. It is upheld. And Kansas State, after giving it away, takes it right back. Third forced turnover of the game for this Wildcats team.
A lot of turnovers have been the issue also for OSU the last 5 games. This Oklahoma State defense has actually played pretty well. I mean, you got to give Parker Robinson and his crew a bunch of credit for a team that, you know, the last time they were playing, they got beat 38-21, and then that Texas Tech game was just, that started early and often. And Texas Tech beat them 42-0. But today, I see a game team. They are playing some really tough physical football.
Johnson keeps it, and there's nowhere to go. Look at those black jerseys just collapse around him.
And I'm telling you, they're playing like a one-year-old stale beef jerky, man. They are coming on after you.
Robertson and Brown both there on the tackle.
Deshaun Brown on the interior is just violent hands, and he's just getting 87 was involved in that as well. But that front 7, we talked to their defensive coaches. They said these guys are playing some really good football.
K-State 2 of 9 on 3rd down. They've got 3rd and 6 here. Joe Jackson, top of your screen on the empty set. Avery Johnson's slant route is complete to the tight end Lincoln Cure, who was flexed out. Gain of 7, which is 1 more than they needed, so a first down for Kansas State.
Again, you don't want to get yourself in harm's way back here, but you've got a big tight end who's very versatile, 6'5", 245. Brother Layton played fullback at Fort Hays State. Sister volleyball player. He's got a family of players in the ball.
Jackson trying to go to the outside. He is met there by J.K. Johnson. Physical at the point of attack.
And that was the funny thing in talking to both of these staffs about the other crew. Like, that program is physical. They get after it. You love hearing them talk about it, you know, and really meaning it. K-State understanding how difficult it has been to win here. None of these guys were around. The staff wasn't around. But sometimes you have games and conference opponents where you just struggle to beat them.
It's hard to explain. Yeah. Hard to pinpoint any one thing.
And it goes on for a time period. You know, you look up and you say it's been 10, 15, 20 years since you've been able to beat them consistently.
Timeout. Kansas State, their first of the half.
Kansas State takes a timeout. The 2nd and 4 play coming up. Still a 1-point game. Wildcats in front of the Cowboys 7-6. Coming up next on ABC and the all-new ESPN app, it's 4th-ranked Alabama hosting number 11 Oklahoma. And then at 7:30 Eastern, Arch Manning and number 10 Texas square off against Gunnar Stockton and number 5 Georgia. It's the SEC on ABC. Your Home Depot College Football Awards Show Spotlight. How about Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs? First 6 games, he was averaging 211 through the air, 259 over the last 3. Touchdown numbers have gone up. He's protected the football, and he is a weapon with his feet.
Yes, he is.
Couple of big ones there in the SEC this afternoon and tonight. Quick pass complete to Jerron Tibbs. Kenneth Harris on the tackle. Maybe the story of the day, though, happening in the SEC, where South Carolina, with 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, leads Texas A&M, undefeated, ranked 3rd in the country, 30-10.
They're taking them to the woodshed right now.
Antonio Martin Jr. into the game, and then it's a little toss back, just kind of an underneath flip to Lincoln Cure. Had everything in the play going to the right side with Cure coming underneath, and no confusion there for Sidivini Havili Kafusi.
Watch 88. Landon Dean is the one that hit him first because he sees the movement, and it allowed everybody to converge there.
I just wanted to say that
I
name.
know you did. Havili Kafusi.
Dean there, part of the tackle. Loss of a couple on the play, so 2nd and 12. Avery Johnson looking to take off. Oh, he's got all kinds of room. Johnson stumbles, gets to the 40, redirects, and he's all the way down to the 30-yard line. They've kept him hemmed up all day long. One breakdown, and he's wide open.
They come with that pressure on the left side of the line of scrimmage, right there. And then you see that gap, that B gap is what he loves to get through because he's fast, trips a little bit, but still has enough to beat Raymond Gage II and get some positive yards. The other thing he's doing real nice, Richard, is the ball handling. He is showing it's hard to see where the ball is, and is fooling this defense, even especially on passing plays.
On the ground this time. Ooh, big hit at the line of scrimmage. Brian McCoy Jr. says no farther.
Hey, that was a hello by the Osley brothers, but it was a loud hello.
On the
hello
carry
is
that
me.
time, Martin. Hey, by the way, our College Football Awards Spotlight was brought to you by the Home Depot, featuring the Davey O'Brien Awards semifinalist, Gunnar Stockton, we were talking about just a moment ago. The Home Depot College Football Awards show coming up Friday, December 12th at 8 Eastern.
McCoy made that tackle with somebody draped on him as well.
This time it's Jackson who lowers his head and runs into a wall.
This defensive line has done a really nice job with this penetration. They've had different guys getting in there and disrupting things on the inside.
Clint Owen told us that the front 7 that they have been completely bought in. This is a year that has been unlike any other for Oklahoma State. You fire the head coach who's been there, he's into his 21st season, and Mike Gundy. Guys are trying to figure out where they're going to be a year from now. You've got this losing streak going, and yet that front 7, defensive line linebacker group, has really kind of been the anchor for Oklahoma State, and they're trying to make another play, and they do.
Kenneth Harris, wow. Oh, my goodness. He came off the edge. And as you were talking, I'm like, he is going to get there. And that's unusual to get to Avery Johnson like that. Watch 23 on your screen. Left side, he's coming. I mean, he is just barreling after him. And Avery Johnson felt it, but didn't feel it fast enough.
Yeah, they're quick to fire the cannon here at Boone Pickens Stadium. Looked like Kenneth Harris was shot out of a cannon there. 4th and 15, out of field goal range, but kind of in that in-between spot. What do you do?
Super senior.
You take a
transfer
penalty
from Arkansas State. Yeah.
I take the delay of game just because you're in that spot where
you're in no man's land, really.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
You got to give Ryan Osborne, the D-line coach, and Cap Dede, the linebacker coach. If we're going to talk about the front 7, you got your guys bought in. And those are the kind of things you see. Kenneth Harris, Parker Robinson, also Raymond Gay. We've called a few guys on the back end that have played really, really well.
You see that offensive line for Kansas State had only allowed 8 sacks all season. Oklahoma State's come up with a couple today. That
last one by Avery Johnson, if he just gets rid of the football, it takes the sack away. He held on too long.
End over end kick. Fair catch made right at the 10-yard line. Got a ball game in Stillwater. A 1-point lead for Kansas State. They need 2 wins for bowl eligibility. Here is your Fansville College football update brought to you by Dr. Pepper. A couple of games in the Big 12 in action right now. Arizona has taken the lead at Cincinnati, 20-14. That's a 3rd quarter score. 2nd quarter, Arizona State up at home over West Virginia. Utah at Baylor tonight. Here's Oklahoma State. Rodney Fields in the backfield, getting a carry, and not much. Desmond Purnell.
Desmond Purnell, another guy that just shows up for you. Consistently plays well for this defense coming into today's game. 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown against TCU like you talked about earlier.
Desmond Purnell is from Topeka, Kansas. And as a senior in high school, he was a finalist for both the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year awards in Kansas. Boy, the acceleration from Rodney Fields Jr. there in the open field, finally shoved out of bounds by Logan Bartley. A gain of 27 for the Cowboys.
How much better he is when he's healthy. He catches the ball out of the backfield well. He's going to make the first guy miss, and you better get someone on him.
Flores rolling to his right, completes out to the far sideline, right in front of the Kansas State bench. Shamar Rigby, I beg your pardon, Terrell Davis, for a gain of 9.
Looks like now what they're doing is getting that ball out, making sure Kevin Johns and Doug Meacham, the offensive crew over there for Oklahoma State, ball getting all over the field, but getting out quickly out of his hands.
Kevin Johns told us that he thought the buy-in from the offense has been really good despite kind of the craziness of this season. Gavin Freeman on the speed sweep gets the first down across midfield.
I mean, in this day and age in college football, Richard, it's just interesting to talk every single week to different staffs. We're talking to one that has an interim head coach and the coach that's getting his guys in position to play for bowl games, but they all have similar situations. It's just tough when you have all the stuff that swirls on the outside that these players are dealing with, and you have to manage all of it.
Looking to throw back, got a tight end wide open. That's Grayson Brusso. What a beautiful play design there.
He did a nice job. He got lost. On an over route, no one there to cover him, and you need Jordan Allen, the big defensive lineman, to track him down. They work to the right and then come back to the left. No one there. Look at Big 91 though with the hustle. He had a blocker out in front. Good job by Rodney Fields, but I got to give credit to Jordan Allen because he may have saved a touchdown or even more yards.
25-yard gain there. Flores going to flip it quickly. That's Howland out of the backfield for a short gain on first down.
They're moving them away from those edge rushers and Ryan Davis and Obi Izor or Jordan Allen or Alcorn Crowder, and it's making those guys move and have to run and chase him instead of him sitting in the pocket.
Inside 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Been sitting on 7-6 for a while now. Once again, Oklahoma State deep into Kansas State territory. They have not scored a touchdown today. Flores hit and dropped, and the ball came out.
Ryan Davis.
Another turnover for the Cowboys. That's
Rolling
the
the field is a
fourth
fumble recovered by the defense.
Today
First down, Kansas
by
State.
Kansas State.
Ryan Davis off the edge again. They can't block him, and Rex Van Wy is able to recover. They had done so well of moving the pocket, and watch this time. No, 52 is just, hey, if you're going to sit in that pocket, I'm going to come and grab you. And then the ball is recovered by the Kansas State Wildcats.
Yeah, Rex Van Wy with the recovery after the vicious hit by Ryan Davis.
One of those young linebackers. Van Wy getting a chance to play more, but Ryan Davis has been so disruptive, the sophomore out of Phoenix, Arizona.
For Oklahoma State, 4 of the last 5 possessions have ended in turnovers. Interception, field goal attempt, interception, fumble, fumble.
But K-State has not been able to capitalize.
That's right.
On it. It's been, these two defenses now have played some really good football. One's going to crack, but right now they're just jab, jab, body blow to each other.
Avery Johnson under center, just a deep handoff to Joe Jackson. Jackson moving the pile. Gain of 7 on the carry.
It looked like it's going to be a 2-yard gain, and then it just becomes a 7-yard gain.
That was that smash mouth concept that we were talking about earlier. There was nothing air raid about under center, deep handoff, straight ahead running.
Yeah.
Texas A&M trying to make things interesting in College Station. They've scored a couple of third-quarter touchdowns to make that now a 30-17 game. Pump fake and a throw and a completion. Jerron Tibbs.
One of the offensive linemen for K-State is down, but really nice play-action pass and get the ball over to Tibbs.
28-yard, 27-yard throw and catch that time. 56 there from the offensive line. That's the right tackle, Andrew Lanegang.
Ball up in the air, and really nice job by Tibbs of going up and getting it. All-state basketball player in high school out of Indianapolis Cathedral High School. Transfer from Purdue, and like I said before the game, he was doing a really nice job on the jugs and just working out, catching the football.
They appear to be looking at the left leg for Andrew Lanegang. How about this note on him? He is the first Kansas State player from the state of North Dakota since at least 1949. He's from Bismarck.
He was the Gatorade North Dakota 3A Player of the Year. Wow.
I'm assuming that was not as a right tackle.
He probably played a little bit of, most of those tackles, they played some tight end or played other positions, and he's a very athletic guy. 6'6", 304.
There you see Lanegang, who's actually lined up at left guard on that play. They've had an ankle roll, maybe.
Yeah. And they've had some movement in that interior offensive line where they've had to move some guys around.
After the 27, 28-yard pass play to Tibbs, Kansas State. This one through the hands of the intended target, Will Swanson.
Well, and there was also pressure for Avery Johnson. He didn't have a chance to really set up like he wanted to, and he had to get rid of that football quickly. Again, the disruption of this defensive line has played a role in putting them in 2nd and 3rd and long.
Kansas State opened their season in Dublin. It feels like an eternity ago, back on August 23rd. It was a 3-point loss to Iowa State. Chris Kleiman told us that took something out of his team. They came back home, immediately played a game against North Dakota. Then they had a really difficult to prepare for team at Army. Then they had a Friday night game at Arizona before they finally got an open date and were able to just kind of take a breath
said after that Arizona game, they had to come back and figure out how to get themselves better and ready for the stretch
That is
run.
the end of the third quarter.
A one-point game as we go to the fourth quarter in Stillwater. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. They're swag surfing Section 231 or 2-no-shirty-1 as they now call it. They get rid of the shirts, wave them above their heads. That group has grown throughout the game, too.
I know. Every time I look up, there's more and more guys over there. These young guys, older guys, they all say, take the shirts off. If McAfee and Aaron Donald can do it, we got it, too.
Was quite the trim job on his chest for the OSU. Kansas State, 3rd and 8, first play of the fourth quarter. Low snap. And a tackle out of bounds. Good open field tackle. Garrett Oakley driven out of bounds by Parker Robertson. Stop me if you've heard that name today.
Yeah, how many times have you heard it today is the key. 7 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 1 interception, 1 breakup. He's a stat stuffer today.
I don't know what the defensive player of the game award is for Oklahoma State, but he gets it.
He might get the no shirt award today.
From the 32, a 4th down and 6 for Kansas State. Offense on the field. Avery Johnson from the gun. Throws the slant. It's complete. And that's good for a first down just across the 25-yard line. Garrett Oakley.
They set that up nice, Richard. When Brebob one had him in the middle, and Avery knows he had an opportunity to find him in that slot.
Timeout, defensive injury
Big body.
notice before the ball was spotted.
Defender, you have to go through him. Raymond Gay had no chance on that play.
Needed 6, got 8. And a player for Oklahoma State. I believe that's Malik Charles.
Looks like 0.
With the timeout on the field, we will take one as well. 7-6, 1st and 10 for K-State when we come back from the 24. A tense couple of minutes inside Boone Pickens Stadium. Malik Charles, the linebacker for Oklahoma State, has been down on the turf for the entire time we've been away. The cart initially was coming out of the tunnel, and they kind of waved it off, or at least asked it to stay. They've just brought the cart onto the field. We have seen Malik Charles go from lying flat on his back to his knees raised and still kind of from his waist to his head lying on his back. Now he is sitting up, but they are taking extreme caution with Malik Charles on the field as the training staff now lifts him to his feet. Although he looks very unsteady on his feet right now. Scary moment inside Boone Pickens Stadium, but a lot of good signs in what you are seeing right now. Chris Kleiman, the head coach from Kansas State, kind of made his way out to the area where Malik Charles was being attended to. Doug Meacham was out with the medical team for a while. We're going to lie him down and we'll take him off. Obviously a great deal of concern right now for Malik Charles. Again, I think the fact that you see him standing even as he was being helped up, a positive sign. You see squeezing the hand of presumably part of the training staff there as he's going off the field, and he'll get a nice ovation and have his teammates meet him as he comes off. He gives a thumbs up and waves to this crowd at Boone Pickens Stadium. Malik Charles, a redshirt junior from Tempe, Arizona. Western New Mexico, Northern Arizona, University of West Georgia before landing here at Oklahoma State. You can see what happened here. You've got Malik Charles coming off the left side. His head got low and just kind of may have taken a shot in the head neck area.
Run from the John story as he's running through and collide.
Certainly hope for the best of Malik Charles as Kansas State offensively will now go to work from the 24. Leading at 7-6. Avery Johnson incomplete. Trying to go that time to Will Encillo, one of the tight ends in this group for Kansas State.
Encillo was covered by our man Parker Robertson again. Another PBU. Just been Johnny on the spot, man. When you talk to this Oklahoma State staff, they said we just need these guys on the back end to really solidify us today because this team, Kansas State, can throw the football.
Boy, as Robertson filled up the stat sheet today. This time it's on the ground to Joe Jackson. Jackson's upended just across the 20-yard line. Third down coming up. And again, Parker Robertson.
Well, it doesn't matter who's going to come in as a coach. They need to see tape like this. Watch 8 by the umpire coming downhill, running through you and not to you.
Well, whoever the next head coach is going to wish Parker Robertson had another year of eligibility.
But he's also showing to the young guys, I don't care what the score is. I don't care how many games we've lost. We're going to bring it.
Kansas State 3 of 12 on third down. They've got it 3rd and 5 here. On the ground, Jackson going to be close. He's going to be stopped short.
And Richard, it's interesting when you get to that point in your college career when you can see light at the end of the tunnel. I can remember 2 years in a row we were really good. Won 10 games my sophomore, junior year. My senior year, we were 3-7-1. But I can remember late in the year how we had to just keep battling. And that's what you want to see out of these guys.
Timeout for an injury.
Another player down. That is Ike Asuana. Well, that's good to see.
Yeah, he's
25 jogging off the field.
Sophomore out of Austin, Texas. But to elaborate on that, when you have 3 games left and you know it's at the end of your career, I knew potentially I was going to play at the next level. But you don't know what's next for some of these guys, especially if you're Parker Robertson. You've had a career, you've been a former walk-on. You got to play with a chip on your shoulder and help those young guys understand that when you show up in between these lines, this is what you have to do.
Kansas State going for it on 4th and 1. A heavy package. Oakley lined up in the backfield. It's Jackson straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. A flag is down. Flag came in at about the 5-yard line. Chris Kleiman looking for an explanation, clearly not agreeing with something. Will Swanson was lined up as almost an offset fullback.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on the defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So it is a touchdown for Joe Jackson. Just his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. Finally some breathing room for Kansas State.
Yeah, and what you have a lot of times is once you get past that first wave of 11, but 1, 2, we're going to count the 12 guys that are out there. Sometimes you try to bring 12 to their 11, and even with that many guys, you still score. Joe Jackson.
That makes the touchdown run even more impressive, right?
Yeah, he could say, look, I had to beat 12 guys, not 11.
10 plays, 70 yards, 4:05 off the clock. With 12:31 remaining, Luis Rodriguez splits the uprights, and it's now 14-6. Still a 1-score game.
It's a 1-score game, but if you're Kansas State, you've got to be happy with Joe Jackson getting through the end, getting to the end zone, and taking the lead at Stillwater.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
(14-6) our score in Stillwater at Boone Pickens Stadium on a day when Justin Blackman was inducted into the Ring of Honor inside of this stadium. Oklahoma State looking to snap a losing skid. They beat UT Martin to start the season. They've lost 8 in a row. Kansas State on the other side looking for bowl eligibility. They were 4-5 coming into this ball game. Got to get to 6 to play in the postseason. And Oklahoma State's offense headed back out. Zane Flores looking for the possibility of tying this ball game. Only one win in the last 26 years for Kansas State here in Stillwater.
It's hard when you're losing this many games, and you can see different areas where they played better against Kansas. But you've got a game today where you've had opportunities. You got to protect Zane Flores, and you got to make sure that you are not turning the football over when you have opportunities like they've had today.
Not sure what the confusion was, but a timeout taken by Oklahoma State before they run an offensive play.
There will be 30 seconds.
That's their second timeout of the half. The 15th annual State Farm Champions Classic coming up Tuesday night back at Madison Square Garden. You know, it's just the world's most famous arena. Number 17 Michigan State squares off against number 9 Kentucky in game 1. That's at 6:30 Eastern. Then between games, the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. And at 9 Eastern, Aaron Peterson and number 25 Kansas taking on Cameron Boozer and number 4 Duke. All right, so a timeout wasted there by Oklahoma State. 1st and 10 from their own 25. 1 timeout remaining. They're down 8. Rodney Fields Jr. trying to get to the outside. Shoved out after gaining a couple.
Part of when you're losing and teams that have struggles like this is you don't use a timeout after you've had a possession change. You know, those are the little things that you have to make sure you don't do. And that's what we're seeing with the team that has lost 7 straight games.
Fields, he is met that time by Desmond Purnell.
Actually make it 8 straight games and trying to get Doug Meacham his first win as an interim head coach here at Oklahoma State.
Doug Meacham's been a successful offensive coordinator. A lot of different places. Time at TCU really stands out on Gary Patterson's staff. Third down and 5. You see Meacham looking on from the Oklahoma State sideline. Flores, plenty of time. Good pocket. Now he's going to take off. Dumps it over the middle, and that ball is caught. Shamar Rigby made himself available, and that's enough for a first down, a gain of 7.
Talked about a guy that was starting to step up for him. Rigby is one of them. Gavin Freeman, who we saw earlier. But Flores has run the ball effectively early, and that twist inside, he steps up right here and then fires it. That's what you got to do in those situations. Stay out of harm's way and keep the chains moving.
Trent Howland now in the backfield. Good pass out to midfield. Terrell Davis hauls it in on the plus side of the 50. And once again, Oklahoma State gets it into Kansas State territory. Gain of 16 there.
Flores again with the bullet in between 2 defenders. Yes, Davis to go up high, the 5th-year senior out of Oklahoma City. Climbs the ladder and makes a nice catch.
Fields now back in the backfield with Flores. Oklahoma State has not had trouble moving the ball. They've had trouble finishing drives. And a good hard run from Fields for a couple on first down. Travis Bates with the tackle. The problem today has been turnovers. 4 of them. Now, one of those, Hail Mary at the end of the half, doesn't really count, but 3 important turnovers in this game.
Every time they start kind of really getting in the area in the red zone, that's the one area where Joe Klanderman comes with some kind of pressure. And they haven't been able to figure out, Oklahoma State that is, where it's coming from and who to block, even though it's been Ryan Davis a couple of times so far today.
9.5 to play. 2nd and 8 for the Cowboys. Flores wound up like he wanted to throw it deep, and now he's dropped. Brought down by Damian Ilalio. The nose tackle. His coaches just described him as solid.
Yeah, they just talk about how well he plays and just a hard guy to block.
Number 0, defense. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So Amari and Fortenberry called for defensive holding, and so that wipes the sack off the board and gives Oklahoma State a first down at the 35-yard line.
The receiver gives him a move, and Amari and Fortenberry just takes him down.
That may have been a don't give up a touchdown penalty. To the outside with a little bit of room. A good hard run. That's Vialahi.
Vialahi got around the corner really quickly. They said we were going to see all the running backs. He, Fields, and Holland have really done a nice job in this running game today for this Oklahoma State team. 129 yards rushing on the ground.
Inside the 30. Could the Cowboys get it to the end zone? They set up a throw down the field by the running back, and that one is intercepted. It's Daniel Cobbs coming up with the INT, and once again a turnover by Oklahoma State. Trent Howland forced the throw, and an easy interception that time for Cobbs.
There was nowhere for him to throw that football. And K-State has really figured out there are going to be some gimmicks and some tricks, and that was not a very good call. I wouldn't call it the right time.
In the field is an interception by the defense. First down, Kansas State.
A lot of times when you have these trick plays and you have the running back knowing that, hey, I may not be able to throw this with the receiver, and so I just throw it out of bounds to save our offense an opportunity.
In the neighborhood of Gavin Freeman, his momentum was kind of carrying away from him. Couldn't come back to try and knock it down or break up the interception opportunity. Ball just kind of floated. A turnover, and Kansas State looking for a win on the road, which is a rarity in Stillwater. Cobbs with the interception. Kansas State ball when we come back. Time to take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. What a game it has been for Parker Robertson, including this interception. Stepped in front of the receiver, took one away from Garrett Oakley. It's been a monster day for Parker Robertson on the defensive side for Oklahoma State. Here, Avery Johnson trying to get to the outside, and he is run down and dropped for a loss on the play.
Eric Fletcher, nice pursuit. Transfer from East Carolina. Parker Robertson, just talk about stuff and stats. Kids want gifts. Good players want stats, and he's getting them today.
8 tackles, he's got a sack, couple of passes broken up, and also the interception today for Parker Robertson, the 5th-year senior. On the ground. This Oklahoma State defense today has been a different version of itself. In Big 12 play, they have allowed 38 or more points in every game. They've given up 14 today.
And a team that scores 33.3 points per game in Big 12 play has been really contained by this Oklahoma State defense.
Johnson complete. He gets it to Adonis Moise for a Kansas State first down. 18 yards on the reception.
He's going to throw a strike here, steps up and gets rid of it. And that time, the reason he's able to do that, clean before the snap and after the snap. Clinton Bowen has done a nice job of making it murky and not giving him clear passing windows. Avery looks inside, then comes back, steps up just a little bit and fires that ball into his receiver.
Clock becoming the enemy of the Cowboys at this point. Kansas State wants to milk as much of it as they can. Put it on the ground with Joe Jackson. Now close to the 45-yard line. Kenneth Harris on the tackle.
That's where you think you'll see a lot more of that. Joe Jackson, 4, 5, 6 yards to keep this clock moving. You're not in 4-minute offense yet, but you're getting awful close.
Texas A&M has come all the way back. They trailed by 27 at halftime. They were down 30-3. Pitched a shutout in the third quarter, and the Aggies have taken the lead 31-30 over South Carolina in College Station with still over 10 minutes to play. Avery Johnson, quick pass this time to Joe Jackson. Pick up a couple on the play, going to bring up a third down. Clock continues to run.
Brandon Rawls with a really nice tackle. And I wonder what Mike Elko told that team at halftime. Because whatever he said, they have responded in kind. Marcel Reed looks a lot better from what the score indicates, but they have just come storming back.
Big one's coming up later today. Oklahoma, Alabama on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. Texas, Georgia in the nightcap and on ESPNU. After us this afternoon, Memphis and East Carolina from Greenville. Avery Johnson keeps it, and he's going to be really close. It looks like he's going to be marked just shy of the first down.
I would venture to say with this big offensive line, they will line up and go for this on 4th down. It's a team that talks about toughness and physicality against a front seven that has not bended today. They have been there. To your point, held this Kansas State offense in check.
On for it twice on 4th down. They've converted both times, one of them because of a defensive penalty. Avery Johnson under center. It's a handoff, and a flag comes in. Enough yardage for the first down if it stands. That is thrown in the area of holding.
Holding. Number 56, offense. 10-yard penalty. 3-play 4th down.
Andrew Lanegang called for the hold.
He's nicked up a little bit earlier. He's back in there. And you're right. Right where that flag drops is where it was the holding. This climate is not happy.
So his punt team will come on.
Yeah, the punt team has to. After you get that, those are the kind of things where it just frustrates you as a coach when you're that close.
Simon McClannon booms this one back to the 13-yard line. Return of about 10 yards after a 53-yard punt. UFC 322 is tonight at Madison Square Garden, highlighted by 2 title fights. The men's welterweight and women's flyweight belts are on the line. The prelims begin at 8 Eastern. Main card at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. But it's also available at ESPNplus.com/PPV. Does Oklahoma State have a scoring drive in them? They trail by 8 with 4:04 to play. 5 turnovers today by the Cowboys offense. One of them on a Hail Mary right before the half. Flores goes to the air, and he completes it to Gavin Freeman. Nice first play of the drive.
And it's been one of those situations from the 20 to the 20. This Kansas State defense has given up a lot of yards, and then all of a sudden they tighten up. right when they need to, whether it's a big sack, whether it's a big strip force fumble, whether it's an interception. So let's see if this Oklahoma State team can get it all the way into the end zone.
204 yards through the air today for Oklahoma State. This time Gavin Freeman wrestled down for a loss. That's Asa Newsome with the tackle. Flores 21 of 29, 211 yards, no touchdowns. He's been intercepted twice.
Asa Newsome, they were really wanting to see how he would play. He was hurt last season, out earlier this year. We called his name quite a bit today as well.
Oklahoma State only one timeout remaining. Remember, they had to burn one after a change of possession. They do have the 2-minute timeout as well. Here's Rodney Fields Jr. picking his way out to the 45 for a gain of 6 yards and a third down coming up.
They're going at a methodical pace, but again, don't use all the clock, but make sure you get in there and try to score, because you struggled in the red zone in particular.
Got to have a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Flores will snap this under 2:30, but a flag comes in. That's going to be a delay of game on Oklahoma State. No sense of urgency getting to the line and getting that play run.
Delay of game. Number 23, defense. Player was clapping and giving disconcert. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, there was still no sense of urgency from Oklahoma State, but a penalty on Kansas State, the disconcerting signals penalty.
Asa Newsome, his father Marcus played football at Nebraska.
First down at midfield for Oklahoma State. 2:25 to go, clock running, down 8. Fake it to Fields, and now Flores gets to the outside and throws it incomplete. That one at the feet of Terrell Davis.
He had pressure coming. And Flores, who has shown some good athleticism today, I have to just get away from this. I cannot let these guys get to me.
Flores missed 3 games this year with injury. Missed the Houston, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech games.
Came back against Kansas and played actually pretty well. Gave him a chance to be in that football game.
He had thrown only 3 interceptions all season coming into today. Dumps this one across the middle to Gavin Freeman. 5-yard gain. And that will take us to the 2-minute timeout. 14-6, Kansas State leading it over Oklahoma State. Cowboys need a touchdown +2.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Two minutes to play in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's Kansas State trying to win here for the first time since 2017 and just the second time since 1999. An 8-point lead for the Wildcats. Oklahoma State with the ball at the K-State 45. Here's Fields to the outside. He's hit as he goes out of bounds, and no flag.
I think K-State is lucky or fortunate that the officials don't throw the flag on that, because clearly he's out of bounds. That hit comes a little bit late. Daniel Cobbs.
Just showed the replay on the video board. You heard the boos from the Oklahoma State fans. As it is, a gain of 12 and a first down for the Cowboys. Flores with pressure, dumps it off to Fields on a screen. Fields has it to the 20. That's another Cowboys first down. They are in the red zone with 1:46 to play, a gain of 14.
They come with pressure. Flores is able to just manage it, get the ball to Fields, and Fields with a nice run after catch.
Rodney Fields, 51 yards on the ground today. He's also got 46 yards receiving. Now it's Vailahi into the game. Vailahi hurdles a man at the 10-yard line. A flag comes in behind the play. It was Gunnar Maldonado that he jumped over. And that's going to be holding.
Number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Jacoby Sanders called for the hold, and that wipes a big play off the board. And now Oklahoma State going the wrong direction with 1:23 to play.
Fourth start of his career. Big 75. You can see him right there. Got to let go, or you have to have those hands on the inside when you're bringing those guys down.
Now back at the 29-yard line. It's 1st and 20 for Oklahoma State. Flores dumps it off, and a short gain. Donovan McIntosh on the tackle. It was Vailahi with the catch out of the backfield. 1 minute to play. Quick pass and a big hit. The throw was behind Vailahi. DJ Payne laying the lumber.
DJ Payne came over and brought it. Number 7, watch him. Vailahi just can't quite pull the ball away or pull it in. He takes a shot.
Gavin Freeman and Sam Jackson, the 5th, line up at the top of your screen. 3rd down and 17 with 50 seconds to play. Cowboys have to have a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Flores flushed, looking downfield. He'll just float it out of bounds, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And Charles, you talked about it a moment ago. Once Oklahoma State gets inside the 20, Kansas State has turned up the pressure.
They do, and then they flush him out of the pocket, and Jordan Allen is there, Ryan Davis chasing him. I also didn't like the sense of urgency when they got the ball back. It seemed like they were going too methodical. And sometimes you got to get in your tempo or whatever it is to get you going so you can change the momentum against this defense.
4th down, Kansas State looking for one more stop. Flores stands in, throws, and it's incomplete. Would have been an interception, but on 4th down it doesn't matter. And Nigel Thomas there to knock it down, and Kansas State is going to escape Stillwater with a win in the Big 12. Their 4th conference win. Going to move to 5-5 overall with games remaining against Utah and Colorado.
Obi Izor is going to be in the face of Flores, so he doesn't have a chance. And the ball should have been picked off, wasn't. But watch 8. 8 was so disruptive there. He gets by the offensive lineman and the running back to get in the way of Zane Flores.
Chidi Obi Izor with the pressure, and now all Kansas State has to do is snap it one time and take a knee. They're able to do that. Well, Oklahoma State may use its final timeout. The clock continuing to run. And a few folks from the Oklahoma State sideline start walking toward the middle of the field. That's going to do it here in Stillwater. A gutsy win for Kansas State. Their defense came up big when they had to. Turnovers kind of the story today for this Oklahoma State team that played, especially defensively, the best game that it's played all season long.
Yeah, I thought both of these defenses were outstanding, but Oklahoma State's defense really showed me something. They gave themselves an opportunity, they gave themselves a chance as well, turning the ball back over to their offense. But good win for Chris Kleiman and his staff to get closer to bowl eligibility.
Just the 2nd win for Kansas State here in Stillwater in 26 years. So an opportunity still to get to a bowl game for Kansas State. They need one more win. They got to go to Utah next week, and then they'll close it out at home against Colorado. See if they're able to do it.
Yeah, Utah's going to be tough, as you know. Colorado hadn't played particularly well all season. but if you're going to do it, finish it off. And I think that's the one thing that's this team will talk about, trying to make sure they take care of their business as soon as they can.
Avery Johnson with 177 yards, a touchdown through the air. Joe Jackson had a rushing touchdown. 14-6 the final. That wraps it up here in Stillwater. For our entire ESPN crew and my partner Charles Arbuckle, I'm Richard Cross. Your final score, 14-6. Kansas State wins it over Oklahoma State.